Have you ever seen a Formula One season so unpredictable that every weekend feels like a whole new story? That's exactly where we are right now, with the Japanese Grand Prix looming at Suzuka. From an unpredictable forecast that could upend entire strategies to surprising driver moves that no one saw coming, it seems like we're on the cusp of a massive shake-up. Some teams are desperate for a comeback. Others are taking bold risks, and a few drivers suddenly find themselves either on top of the world or demoted to unexpected roles. Buckle up, because the drama at Suzuka could change everything. When you think of a race weekend, you picture perfect conditions and methodical engineering. But Suzuka has a mind of its own this year. Forecasts predict a solid chance of rain, especially when the lights go out on Sunday. Teams are already scrambling to figure out if they should gamble on a wet setup in advance or stick to their usual approach. Make the wrong call, and you could be sliding off the track or struggling for grip when it matters most. Over the years, we've seen how a sudden downpour can transform a front runner into an also-ran and vice versa. The difference between triumph and disaster might hinge on a single decision about tyre selection or wing angles. Everyone remembers those moments when the heavens opened mid-race and half the grid looked like they were on ice. With so much at stake, who's brave enough to take the biggest risk this weekend? Out of nowhere, Yuki Tsunoda finds himself swapping garage spaces and stepping into the Red Bull cockpit for his home race. Talk about pressure. Suzuka is already one of the most demanding circuits in the world. Fierce corners, adrenaline-charged straights, and a passionate crowd. Now imagine carrying the hopes of thousands of home fans, along with the sky-high expectations of Red Bull's top brass. Tsunoda's been vocal about his goal: a podium on home soil. For the driver who's only recently earned his promotion, that's ambitious. Still, insiders say Red Bull has softened the car's setup to suit his driving style. If he clicks with the RB, we might see a surprise charge through the field. Then again, the intense spotlight and tricky weather could rattle even the calmest driver. The question remains, can Tsunoda handle the weight of both a career-defining move and a home race crowd hungry for a hero? While Tsunoda basks in the spotlight, Liam Lawson is dealing with a very different reality. After a short stint with Red Bull, he's been shifted out just before a track where his Super Formula experience might have paid off big. Some fans are calling it unfair. Others see it as a chance for him to refocus and come back stronger. Regardless, the timing is undeniably harsh. Those close to Lawson insist he's more motivated than ever, ready to prove the team made a mistake letting him go. Sometimes a setback becomes the catalyst for incredible comebacks. Still, the disappointment is real. Suzuka is a driver's circuit where finesse and confidence reign supreme. Had Lawson remained in the Red Bull seat, he might have turned heads with a stunning performance. Now he's watching from the sidelines, hoping for his next shot. If there's a track that could ignite Ferrari's resurgence, it might just be Suzuka. Known for its array of medium to high-speed corners, this legendary circuit could finally play to the strengths of the SF25. Ferrari's recent hiccups, including poor luck and questionable strategy calls, have overshadowed the fact that their car still has serious potential. In Australia, the team tried a high-risk approach, setting up for wet conditions and coming away empty-handed. This time, with another rainy race looming, they're faced with a similar gamble. Yet rumours suggest the team has gathered invaluable data from earlier misadventures and is ready to deploy new simulator models and updated setups. If they pull it off, they could end McLaren's recent dominance at circuits with fast, sweeping bends. But if it backfires, well, Ferrari fans have lived through enough heartbreak already. McLaren launched into the season with a bang. 2 races, 2 wins, and a car that seems capable of shining in almost any conditions. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have formed one of the most intriguing lineups on the grid. Both drivers have the speed to lead the team, and that creates an electric rivalry. Suzuka's corners reward precision, which suits the MCL39 well. Still, it's not always sunshine and roses. There have been weekends where the 2 McLaren drivers trip over each other's strategies, risking a meltdown in the pit lane. Add rain to the mix, and the tension could skyrocket. Will they coordinate a split strategy, one going for a dry setup, the other for a wet one, and maintain harmony? Or are we about to see the gloves come off? Many wrote off Mercedes as a has-been after some rocky performances. But look beneath the surface, and you'll see a team quietly regaining form. George Russell's consistency and Antonelli's rapid adaptation have them inching closer to the front. Rumours swirl about crucial updates to the W16 that could debut any race now, and Suzuka might be the ideal proving ground. The biggest advantage Mercedes holds is experience at the top. They know how to handle championship pressure, navigate tricky conditions, and capitalise when others falter. If Ferrari or McLaren stumbles in the wet, expect Russell or Antonelli to pounce. Sure, they're not favourites yet, but they've been in high-stakes battles before and know exactly how to turn underdog status into an advantage. Beyond the headline-grabbing battles up front, a cluster of midfield teams is itching to upset the established order. Beyond the headline-grabbing battles up front, a cluster of midfield teams is itching to upset the established order. Alpine and Aston Martin in particular have shown flashes of brilliance this season, though consistency remains elusive. In a wet race, that uncertainty can be a hidden weapon. A perfectly timed pit stop or a courageous overtake can vault a midfield driver into the top 5 or higher. Then there's racing bulls, striving to shake off a disappointing run and prove they can thrive without the looming shadow of Red Bull. For these teams, Suzuka isn't just another race. It's a chance to claim the spotlight if chaos reigns. A single safety car or a miscalculated strategy from the frontrunners could pave the way for an underdog to make headlines. What happens at Suzuka might redefine the rest of the season. If Tsunoda impresses, Red Bull's driver lineup could see permanent changes. If Ferrari's upgrades pay off, we could be looking at a proper three-way fight for the top steps. And if McLaren's internal rivalry boils over, it might leave the door open for Mercedes or even a daring midfield squad to storm through. It's no exaggeration to say that one wet race, one strategic slip, or one inspired driver could tilt the entire balance of the championship. Fans always crave unpredictability, and this year, Formula One is delivering it in spades. The Japanese Grand Prix has become the focal point of speculation, a crossroads where fortunes might be made or broken. As the paddock braces for Suzuka's twists and turns, both natural and man-made, you have to wonder, who's really in control of this wild ride? Ferrari might seize the chance to climb back into contention, McLaren could tighten its hold on the front, or Mercedes might spring a surprise. Then there's the Red Bull camp, where Yuki Tsunoda's homecoming promises either a heroic debut or a lesson in humility under intense scrutiny. One miscalculation by any top team, and the race could flip in favour of a determined underdog. But the drama isn't confined to this single weekend. The choices teams make here, whether it's a setup for torrential rain, a daring overcut strategy, or a surprise pit stop, will ripple through the rest of the season. A win at Suzuka can inject fresh momentum into a championship campaign, while a devastating loss can magnify doubts and push teams into desperate gambles later on. And let's not forget the drivers themselves. Every brilliant pass or shocking collision could reshape contracts, spark new rivalries, or even catapult lesser-known talents into the global spotlight.